All right, everyone. I have to ask, have you ever felt uninspired,
All the,
technically challenged,
all the time.
no time to create, or just bored when creating your own game maps? Well, if so, then you need to stick around because today we are discussing Dungeon Alchemist, and I am super excited. Hello, heroes. Welcome to Crit Academy. I am your host, Justin.
I'm your co-host, Ian.
I'm your co-host, Brandon. Never mind. Just go.
We hope to inspire you with creative content that you can bring with you on your next adventure. We have a special giveaway tonight to all of our wonderful friends watching on during the live stream here, right over on YouTube. We are giving away a hardcover of our newest product, Extraordinary Expeditions. So stick around to the end to be included in the drawing. I promise this is absolutely a fantastic product. Once again, not just saying that because because we wrote it.
That's just a bonus.
That's just a bonus, right?
Smells like shame.
Fair enough. So I'm super excited. If you don't know, it's 10 adventures, each one from level 1 to level 10 that are on a flexible framework to easily be included in your stories and campaigns. More importantly than that, they are designed to be run with little or no prep. So I'm really excited. So stick around. All right, let's move on to our main topic, Dungeon Alchemist today. I'm super excited for this.
Yep. First and foremost, what is Dungeon Alchemist?
Dungeon Alchemist. It is an AI-powered map-making application on Steam that enables you to make high-quality content faster than ever.
Yeah.
You no longer have to drag and drop walls in certain other programs that I'm going to remain nameless.
It is as simple as you get when it comes to designing maps. If you're anything like me personally, time is a very precious commodity. So a powerful tool that's like this is a complete game changer, going to be honest. It is quite literally as simple as determining the size of your map and the theme. That's it.
Handy. You're up. That's what handy. And when that is done, you can drag your cursor and make it the size that you want. Then, boom! Artificial intelligence automatically creates the rooms and populates it with all sorts of objects to bring it to life.
It's actually really pretty.
So this is really cool. If you're watching on the video right now, it is showing up. It is auto-generating and auto-populating the different themes that you pick, which I think is really, really cool when you're doing Dungeons and Dragons, especially when you have players that sometimes go a different direction. You don't have anything prepared.
Okay.
So I think this does that, handles that sort of situation really, really well. Personally, I do have some. I had some reservations about this when I started tinkering with it. I was worried it would repopulate the same stuff, or it was just It literally just randomly populates everything, which is gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous.
And what I did notice when he was showing me videos before we started to just say, "Hey, you remember Dungeon Alchemist?" Like, oh, I remember hearing about it. All right, look at this. Like, oh, I remember that. Well, so I was playing with it, and if it randomly generates something in a room that you don't like, you can just click that box and get rid of it.
Yeah, and that's fantastic, and they do really well with that. So, Brandon, now that we've kind of shown them a little bit of overview and discussed it, can you tell us about kind of get us started with the process?
Oh, with the process, now that you've got the main structure figured out, the map size, all that stuff, you can now drag and drop to easily expand the dimensions. You can add rooms or build other structures on the same maps, all within seconds. To top it off, you can easily change the theme and objects inside just by clicking a button. Like there's like forests, there's caverns, mountains, all those different things that you can go with.
Which is really, really awesome.
It's like, you want a tavern? You click tavern.
So Dominic actually has a really good question here, I think. He's asking about, can you do things on multiple levels?
I was actually thinking that.
That's a great question. I don't have as much time with this as I would like. And on top of that, when I build my maps, there's separate maps for upper level and lower level anyway. And I do know there's stairs. But I couldn't tell you if it has a function of literally building right on top of one, not that I'm aware of, but this also does a lot of stuff that every time I tinker with it, I learn something new, which it just shows how in depth this program is. What I really liked about it is it gives you an option. If you're not interested in the AI, you can actually instead populate, rotate, drag and drop items inside yourself, which is really, really cool. This really gives you the freedom to build a map exactly how you want, which is really cool because they have a library of just thousands and thousands of objects to pick and choose from: doors, walls, desks, crypts, tables, you name it, potion bottles. They have it all, which is really, really great. I really like the fact that okay, so according to our producer, multi-level maps is planned. A planned edition later this year, according to their according to the chat. So that's definitely something that I think would be really, really cool to
that's what the
keep an eye out for.
Steam community is saying.
Yeah.
As late as April 1st is the last update, the multi-force support is being planned.
So that is awesome. That's what I'm saying. That one thing. So I did kickstart this back when it first announced, because I was super impressed with the development. I want to constantly support more and more, D&D and tabletop created content, right?
And there is a lot of stuff coming out all the time, just in general.
Yeah.
Just because it's how he's growing, and I am okay with that. More tools from our belt.
Yeah. The layout of the buildings are built on a wide, robust set of terrain, which is really cool. Very much, I was talking earlier before pre-show, how it reminds me of old Final Fantasy Tactics, where the different format is kind of designed there, which is pretty cool. And so you pick the terrain, and the terrain is thematic and generated randomly as well. So meaning every time that you choose to build a mountainside village, even the backdrop's going to be different right out the gate, all within seconds, which I think is just phenomenal. And you saw that in the clip that we just played. I'll go ahead and run it again one more time. What really makes this interesting to me is that when you pick your terrain, it allows you to adjust it freely, which is really cool. So let's say, it generates the beautiful map you see here has got water. You can see them altering and adding the path itself to better fit the ideal of what they want, which I think is pretty cool.
Handy for sure.
Final Fantasy Tactics is possibly one of the best games, according to Andrew. Of course it is. It's very super popular.
I love Final Fantasy Tactics.
Yeah, and me too. And so when we're talking about Dungeon Alchemist, what makes this really cool, besides the auto generation, is its versatility. Let's Brandon, why don't you touch on that a little bit, because I got something I got to do here.
Once you've got the terrain and structures you want in your map, you can easily print them to a paper size of your choice or export them to a virtual tabletop.
Yes.
To be ready. And just says that there's tabletop VTTs out there that have they had the 3D map setting. So you can import these 3D maps to these things, which I think would be great, because one of my favorite multiplayer games is Diablo, and I love that overhead view thing where they're running around. And I've always wanted to implement that in my D&D games. The only way I could do that was with the hexagon maps, and that shit's expensive. So
yeah. And my favorite thing about this tool is that if your player characters go off script and decide to delve into a dungeon or dip into a crypt or follow a cult of the dragon's lair, and you're not prepared for it, you don't have to spend 20 minutes trying to come up with something. You can literally have something inside of a minute. You tell everyone, all right, take a quick bathroom break, and boom, you give it the general settings. It may not be exactly what you want, but the fact that you can just do that is phenomenal. What's really cool is you can send players on you send them on their break. You come back. Not only can you have part of the dungeon, you could add a whole expansion around it too. And to me, that is just something that we have needed. I mean, we've all got, there's generators out there.
Yeah.
But there's nothing like this that just toss in the detail at this level. And that to me is extremely important, because that shows the dedication that the team put into this. And the versatility of it is really cool too. In the current slide we're running, or the video we're running,
potions.
Yeah,
individually.
So you can get down once it's automatically generated, or you generate it yourself. You can start revamping and personalizing the stuff how you want, which is really, really cool. And I think it would help a lot of dungeon masters, game masters, not just for D&D like us, but for any fantasy setting. And honestly, I don't think it'll take long before it expands beyond fantasy. I would not be surprised if you start seeing other, Dungeon Alchemist themed setting kits or whatever. Now, overall, you guys have kind of got a good view of this. What is kind of your overall thoughts on it, and is there anything that you would like to see that you're not sure is there or is you don't think has been presented yet?
Not off the top of my head, because it seems to be at the end of the day a very straightforward product.
Yeah, I would agree. The other thing that I think it does really well is that it's very easy. It's very easy. When I first got it, I could have went through the tutorial, but I didn't because I ain't got no time for that. But I quickly was able to. It was very intuitive, and you literally just pick your terrain, you draw a box, and tell it what theme you want the box to be, and it does the work for you, which, hallelujah, is needed for me. Welcome back, Wizard. Wow, feels like years. Yeah, it has been a while since you joined us.
Oh wow, I was giddy. It's been a while indeed.
So
I really want to invest into this product. I don't buy a lot of D&D stuff because I don't have a lot of money, but this is something I would definitely buy into.
Yeah. Sorry.
And another thing I love that he was showing me was you can control the time of day and where the lighting's coming from and all that, but when you bring the lighting down and it's dark, all the light sources they flicker and they
turn
burn
on
and stuff.
Yeah.
And if they're off, they turn on when it gets dark, and it's just so pretty.
And Brandon kind of touched on it earlier. This all imports to the VTT as long as the VTT supports dynamic lighting, as well as the walls. So all that stuff is already included. Whether you're using, I think Roll20 now has dynamic lighting. Foundry, Fantasy Grounds.
Yeah,
I don't recall if Shard Tabletop has it.
I want to say Roll20
Tuesdays.
does have it, but you have to pay for a higher tier in the subscription. So
Okay, I didn't know
What
that.
is it available on?
What are devices available on? As
Not
far
just
as I
PC.
know, it's Steam is where you get it. So I assume whatever platform Steam is on.
PC.
I think PC exclusive. Don't quote me on that. I
Yeah.
don't game nearly as much as I used to. Back in my old days.
I mean,
It's amazing.
They-
When you have someone who have no money, you got plenty of time to game. But when you're an adult and you have money, you have no time to game.
D&D and Pathfinder are insanely popular right now. I wouldn't be
Mhm.
surprised if they came up with like an iPad version or something.
Yeah, for sure. And that definitely is a place that I think that as the product grows and the audience grows, I can see them expanding that. Because to me, I can see this as a mobile application. Sitting on my toilet, dropping my dice off, and building new maps. That is totally something that I can totally see myself doing. And I think that as they get, because I think their Kickstarter had just exploded, right? And was something that everyone, I think everyone was shocked at by its success. So as it continues to build an audience and deliver on what people want, I can see those sorts of options rolling as well. Kiefer does say that Roll20 has worked hard to improve their dynamic lighting and features. Definitely, because they got more competition now, and that's one of the best ways to improve. Though I do get that it is a free platform to start with, so which is really great.
Yeah.
I do want to take a second to remind anybody that's watching. Hopefully, you'll going to be Extraordinary Expeditions, our product that adventure book that releases the end of this week. You get a full physical copy, so make sure you stick around that.
In fact, type in crit on YouTube, all caps with an exclamation point.
Okay, sounds good. And if you're listening to this on the podcast, it should be available right now at the release of the pod. If you're listening to it on podcast, release is May 13th.
Now it's Friday, yeah.
So Friday the 13th, that seems like it's bad. So if you run your adventure on when you pick it up and all your players die, that's just meant to be. I do think we do got to touch on some of the negatives that the product has. Because as much as I love this product, it's not without its flaws. I think they are easily fixable, repairable. I think they can fix it. Currently, at least as far as we know, all the rooms are pretty much square. You can make them longer rectangles. They're basically all boxes, right? Even though you can change the shapes of the boxes to form complex patterns, there's no round rooms, right? So if I want to build round rooms, I have to make a big hex with lots of little squares in it, right? And that's something that doesn't really bother me, but seems like a feature that should come pretty quickly. And I would like to see, because that means you can't build a typical round rook. What is the end of, is it what they're called? The end of the castles, the round stairs go up them.
Oh, the
tower.
Yeah. So no round wizards towers for me yet, but I think that'll come with hopefully with the building of the multi-level stuff, right? That's kind of one of my con points. I don't know if you guys had any concern or anything about that. Something like that. With that, a winding staircase, yes. Yep. There's something about that do you think would bother you, or is that just me?
I would say it's annoying, but we also acknowledge up front, though, that this is a work in progress product and it isn't early access. And they are to their credit updating it constantly.
Yeah,
so.
all the time.
Yeah.
What is that? Okay, so I guess that's in the way. Let me maximize this.
Well, yeah, Andrew has a good point. You shouldn't sit on your phone while you're on the toilet for too long, because that's how you get hemorrhoids. Is that why my ass bleeds?
TMI.
Once again, as Ian said, if you want a chance and be entered to win a chance to win a hard copy of Extraordinary Expeditions, please type in crit. What do you say? Crit in the
all caps.
All caps.
Exclamation point.
Exclamation point.
Yeah, we're not going to deduct points if you don't do the
minus 10
point.
Anyways, so I do want to say, all in all, this program is worth every penny, in my opinion. I think it's what, 40, 45, 40?
Something like that.
About $40. And the amount of time that you will save, it will be well worth it, because time is precious as an adult.
Precious.
And I'm telling you, when they bring that thing to mobile, I guarantee you my ass is gonna be like, boom, new map, boom, new map, boom, new map. How long are we on the toilet? 3 maps worth.
Okay.
Anyways,
so
45 bucks.
45. So that's a pretty reasonable price. I don't remember because I backed it and I got it.
Yeah.
So whether you're busy doing adult stuff or need a map quickly, or you just want to have an absolutely gorgeous backdrop for your epic stories and campaigns, I personally highly recommend Dungeon Alchemist. What about you guys?
I think it's definitely good for what you get. And if you want something quick, there you go. Just don't place unfair expectations on it.
Oh, yeah, right, for sure.
I'd invest into it. You're probably going to see it, and it's most likely just going to feel like a new toy for a while. But I don't see anyone outshining this.
At least in
this thing in the near future,
right?
Until they do it in VR and make it affordable. I know they got something going on in VR, but it's like a lot.
Yeah. So honestly, I'm really happy with this product. My bad.
What'd you do?
That was my bad.
Why do you keep buttons you're not supposed to today?
Hey, I meant to do that. It didn't work the way I wanted. So
it's the background music for this.
Yeah,
video.
it's for the background music. So overall, I think that's all. I don't got much more to say on Dungeon Alchemist other than I thought it was totally worth every bit that I supported for it. And I look forward to creating all kinds of maps. If you're a content creator, they have a licensing, commercial license for maps that you make to populate your adventures with, which is really cool.
And I'm not sure we quite answered this. Like 3 Cheese Dave did ask, can you use this as a Battlemaps platform for your game for plays like Roll20 or Owlbear Audio? Short version, you can export your maps as pictures and then upload them to it.
Yep. So that is something that they do talk about a little bit in their thing, because that's one of the big benefits is you can actually get them switch between an orthographic view, which is basically a top-down flattened view like a classic drawn map, or a perspective view, which is the top-down, but it's got the perspective of 3 dimensions, or the full 3D version, or even 2.5 if you want to go that route. So all that's easily built into the program.
And you can export the picture too, so you can actually physically print it off. So
yes, which is something that actually turns out really, really well. You'd be surprised. All the lighting and everything looks gorgeous just to print it and throw it away when you're done with it, which is great, unless you want to save it because it's a lot of ink. You can do. I think you can do grayscaling and stuff too. So, all right, I think that'll do it for our main topic, Dungeon Alchemist. Once again, awesome program. Definitely check it out. That team over there has done a phenomenal job. Now, before we move on to our Unearthed tips and tricks, we have to give our shameless plug. Our shameless plug today is Extraordinary Expeditions. Imagine that. It is available May 13th. I have to say, the team, we all did phenomenal work. The art is gorgeous. I don't know if you all can see that from here. Oh, no, she's got it on the screen, so that's fine. And the artwork is phenomenal. We followed an old school style, so there's a lot of black and white on the parchment color, but it turned out really, really well. The variety of adventures. Personally, one of my favorite adventures is the Alluring Mesas, because I love the idea of the puzzle and mystery behind figuring out why people are leaping to their death just to find out that they're being called to their death by harpies. So when the players first encounter them, if they stake out, they end up fighting on top of mesas, creatures that can fly when they can't at a low level. And I think it's awesome. More than once I dropped people, but fortunately some of them had feather fall and crap like that.
If I'm not mistaken, when you were flipping through those pages, did I see one of our memorable monsters in there?
Probably.
Yeah.
Aola?
Yeah. So we did use monsters from our we tied some monsters from Cobalt Press as well as our memorable monsters in here, which turned out really, really well too. So it just made me a super smell. It's really good. So
see, I'm excited because I didn't actually help with this book.
Okay. And neither did I. I mean, we like to support the show, but unfortunately, we all have lives.
Yeah, right.
That's what he does. That's what he does. Andrew,
It's
Andrew,
a teamwork.
He says, "Print it out at work. Save your own ink." That's what he does with all his shit. He prints it out.
This is on the internet. They're gonna know now.
They don't. Your coworkers don't watch you. He uses the. He uses printers at work.
Apologize to my boss. All that ink I did tell you was for professional use only. So yes, please, if you want to support us in the work that we do, a lot of effort goes into these. So watch for it to release on May 13th. I promise the adventures in here, whether you keep them as is or flavor them as your own, you will get a huge bang for your buck.
And it is worth mentioning too that we do have our level 5 adventure that available for free if you at least want to take a look at it to see just for one example of what's in there.
Oh, that's a good idea. So if you don't know, yeah, that's right. Our what was it? I forgot the name of the adventure. Far touched. See what we've done with this book.
Andrew, really?
Far touched.
No, he said.
Oh Jesus! All right, let's move.
Most of what I said is either a review for software.
All right, so how about we go ahead and move on to our.
That's cool.
But first, once again, if you want to win this, type in all caps crit with an exclamation point.
Yes,
in chat,
because we're giving away a free copy. Stick around. Moving on to our Unearthed tips and tricks.
And now, what you've all been waiting for. Our Unearthed Tips and Tricks segment, where we bring you new and reusable material for both players and DMs.
Oh lordy, I've got an awesome monster for you guys today. We have the Rhyme Charger. Ian, would you like to tell us a little bit about how we can build this?
Well, certainly. First, you start off with the humble rhinoceros.
Humble.
And then you get some new features to it. It becomes vulnerable to bludgeoning damage.
Mm-hmm.
It also becomes immune to cold, piercing and slashing damage from non-magical weapons. It also is a siege monster, which means it deals double damage to objects and structures.
That's important.
Very important.
What?
And wait, there's more. This thing has reactions. The Frostquake. When a creature hits the Rhyme Charger with an attack that deals bludgeoning damage, its weakness, keep in mind, I can't read that because you're blocking my view.
Sorry.
It can use its reaction to slam its hooves and send ripples of ice through the ground in a 10-foot radius circle centered on itself that shakes creatures and structures in contact with the ground in that area.
The ground in the area becomes icy, difficult terrain. When a creature moves into the icy area for the first time on a turn, it must succeed on a DC 15 acrobatics check or fall prone. Not the best thing you want to have happen when you have a giant creature running around on the field. Each creature on the ground that is concentrating on a spell must make a con save. On a failed save, the creature's concentration is broken.
Ooh, ouch.
It's broken.
Sucker.
as you can see on we got the cover art shown for our people that are watching live. That is a monstrosity. I love it. We're also going to give it legendary actions. It gets 2 legendary actions. Overrun, that basically allows it to move up to half its speed without provoking op attacks and smash into people and potentially knock them prone with a contested strength check, which is awesome. Also, we're going to give them Unsettling Roar. The Rhyme Charger releases an intimidating bellow. Creatures within 15 foot of the Rhyme Charger must succeed on a DC 15 Wisdom saving throw, or it must subtract 1d4 from their next attack roll and saving throw. All right. I love this monster. I love the theme. I love the frost. What do you guys think?
This thing be a beast. And good luck fighting one of these and hit. Even as a group, even as one of them, just because of the frost ability, can screw around with the casters.
Yeah, definitely. And that clearly that was the intent, right?
Right.
What about you, Brandon?
It's going to require some tactics to manipulate him around the field.
I'm glad you said that. So you'll notice that Ian mentioned it has a vulnerability.
Yep.
It has vulnerability to bludgeoning, breaking through, which also counters the fact that it has immunities to cold, piercing, and slashing non-magical weapons. So this is a focus that really, as a DM, you feed that knowledge through knowledge checks and can clue them into the vulnerabilities and their resistances. You need to do that. This creature is meant to manipulate the terrain around them and make for dynamic combat.
Yeah, he manipulates the terrain, and you trick him to slam into a mountain, so you manipulate the terrain onto his face.
Yeah.
Because it's bludgeoning. That's only like
Andrew says legendary reactions that legendary creatures can take regardless if they have taken their normal reactions that round. Definitely messes with the action economy there, but I totally get that. Robert says my players would hate this thing. That's how you know they're good. Because you can give them a living iceberg. Perfect, Wizard Cadius. To me, that is what determines a fun and exciting battle, is right, not just doing more damage, but doing things that are debilitating to the player characters where they have to think outside the box. And smashing ground, freezing people, it's all part of it, which is a lot of fun. And just bitch slapping them with your horn just sounds awesome.
That picture looked a lot like a kaiju.
Yeah, I hadn't really thought about that, but okay. All right, I think that'll do it for our monster, the Rhyme Charger. If you like the artwork, you like the concept, please consider becoming a patron at patreon.com/CritAcademy. Not only do we have full stat blocks, full artwork, but we also have lore. Not only lore for the background of the creature, but lore that you can roll for your knowledge checks to feed to your players, and different ways that you can utilize these. It's a whole lot of fun. All right, Brandon, would you like to tell us about our encounter of the podcast? Pacific Rim Job.
Because that's what the Rhyme Charger is going to fucking do to your ass. He's going to rip it a new one. Encounter.
Goodness.
Our encounter for the podcast for this week. Holy shit.
Oh, sorry.
Watch your step. The characters have been careless in their quest, during which they have... Well, that's not too uncommon. During which they have caused undue havoc, property damage, and even slaying those who did not deserve death.
Uh-oh.
This sounds like a regular
Party
so far.
So all of you that have murder hobos, you're welcome.
A patron of a victim of their carelessness has hired Birgit Gildan, a female illusionist spell sword.
Which we made.
Yeah, that's what
Yes.
that's the CS stands for, Crit Academy.
Yeah. We made that.
To hunt down the characters who are responsible and have them brought to justice. Is the illusionist spell sword, is that one of our monsters?
It is. And if you become a patron, you can get access to the full stat block, lore, and different ways to utilize it. Anyways,
Oh, right.
Birgit prefers misdirection and confusion as opposed to a brutal frontal attack, right? Though as a master swordswoman, she can hold her own. Though as a master swordswoman, she still can hold her own. The details of the wrongdoing is really up to you as the GM. I'm sure you're going to know exactly all the crap that they've done better than we do, right? So I'm sure you got plenty of ammo. So stalking and hunting the characters, Birgit will put out a fake job request to clear out a cave of monstrous beasts known as Stegosaurus that have taken up residence in a cavern some distance away from wherever the town is, right?
Plot twist.
Right.
And they're basilisks.
The truth is,
Oh, shit.
The truth is, the cavern has a steep drop at its entrance. Bridget has used her resources to cast hallucinatory terrain on the area to make it look like a regular area.
Oh fuck no! Are you serious? Are you shitting me?
Underneath the illusion is a 30-foot drop into a pit filled with a collection of basilisks. She has lured black. I can't because your reaction, damn it. Filled with a collection of basilisks that she has lured into the cave, specifically to capture the characters. When the characters enter the cavern, it requires a successful DC 19 Wisdom survival check. Confirms that the tracks of a large beast, collection of large beasts, has entered the area. The character, if the character fails the check by 5 or more, they misidentify the tracks belonging to a small herd of stegosauruses. If the character succeeds by 5 or more, they properly identify them as basilisks.
That's way worse than the Stegosaurus.
Fuck you. Want to touch on that a little? The last part there, Ian?
Yep. Once the monster's characters have been turned to stone, Bridget calls a magistrate to enact justice against the character. The characters are taken to the hall of the magistrate, where the stone effect is removed, and they undergo trial for their alleged crimes. And in some parties, it may not be so alleged.
Right. All right.
Learns their crime, secrets, and anything else she can pick up while she is stalking them.
Okay, Brandon, what is your attitude? Why are you so pissed off? Tell me.
You can kiss the darkest part of my ass.
Why is that? I'm sure they want to know.
Because
inquiring minds want to know.
This is what, well, as a lot of you know, we have the Emerald Tier Patron game, right?
Yep.
It's just myself, Ellie is one of the players, and Garwin.
Our Emerald Patron, Garwin.
Our Garwin is the Emerald Patron. We just did this.
And how horrible was it?
Well, they're not exactly parallel. I'm pretty sure we're not being haunted by the illusionist sword person. But he's the DM, so we're fucked now. He killed Ellie.
I did not kill her.
You totally did.
A level 4 character died from a dusk mantle.
Actually,
anyways,
it was the one game where you said, "I'm gonna roll all my rolls in the open, just so you can see how much the dice hate you." That's how she died.
Anyways, what do you guys think about this encounter? Hallucinatory terrain is clearly now one of my favorite spells. You ran into it not once, not twice,
I did it 3 times.
3 times.
3 times. There was a trap outside the cave. I got up, it's like, okay. I went up to the cave, entrance, drop, whee! I fell down from there. It's like, God damn it. I got up, it's like, okay, I'm in the cave. That should be good. This water is a foot deep. I'm going to walk across it. Ah!
Ian, what do you think?
This can be brutal. And how do I put this? Well. If it isn't the consequences of your actions.
Yes, and that's what I was going for here. The characters always think that they're free from consequences, so why not have a good person hunt them? And the way to trick them with illusions is amazing. So
it's bullshit, is what it is.
Okay, it can be. Okay, it can be. Not when I do it, but I'm sure it can be somewhere, right? Maybe you guys can tell.
You dropped me from 30 HP to 6 in a turn.
Well, maybe you shouldn't step on illusions that drop you 30 feet.
I didn't know.
All right, so that'll do it for our encounter. Ian, would you like to tell us about our magic item?
The magic item is the Bow of Balance, which we do not have enough of in this game. Magical bows, that is. And it is very rare. It requires attunement. Attacks with this weapon have a +1 to attack and damage rolls.
Yay.
When you score a critical hit on a creature, part of its vitality is drained away and absorbed into the double-curved wooden bow, getting 1 charge. The bow can store a number of charges equal to your proficiency bonus.
Ooh.
You can expend a charge to cast False Life at the spell equal to your proficiency bonus.
What?
It's funny. This is brought to us by Sean S.
Yep,
who has submitted it. No, it's just it makes sense because you're the bowman, you're a sniper, and those enemies are getting closer. It's like, oh, they got me, and you just fall over dead, and you act like you're dead.
Yep.
I don't think he knows what false life does.
Yep, it gives you 1d4 temporary hit points for the duration.
It's not feign death.
Oh, I'm thinking of feign death.
But that definitely is a better solution, I think.
And for every spell,
That's horse shit.
and for every spell level above second, you gain 5 additional temporary hit points for each level above first. So yeah.
I'm gonna alter this, call it the bow of I'm dead.
Fair enough. Thank you so much for this submission. I really like this. There's not enough bows, and this is a nice one to give them a little, a very defensive mechanic, right?
Mhm.
So, all right, that'll do it for our magic item, the bow of balance. Once
Andrew,
again,
sorry, I was
Go
looking at a thing. Andrew, that's really funny. Making caltrops an illusion. So people would come up, they look down, it's like, oh no, there's caltrops all over this hallway. We gotta take the long way around. When they could just walk through like it was nothing.
oh
Like,
goodness,
these aren't real.
For those of you just joining us, we're giving away a free complimentary copy of our upcoming release, Extraordinary Expeditions, on May 13th. So to be entered to win, type in crit, all caps, with exclamation point. All right, moving on to our Dungeon Master tip. Making mistakes.
You're gonna say make mistakes. What?
No, well, you learn more from mistakes than success, I think. All right,
What did I call it? Failure success training?
failure success training, yes. So a magic item that allows the characters to move through walls unhindered, giving them easy access to all sorts of places you do not want them to go, at least without great effort, is a mistake. A 4th level spell that kills multiple foes with no saving throw is a mistake. A race without level adjustments that has bonuses of +4 and +4 dexterity is a mistake.
Sounds like some homebrew crap there.
Huh.
That's kind of
Usually the
what it's getting at.
mistakes that creep into a campaign are the ones that seem innocuous at first. When
Yeah.
things get unbalanced, you need to fix them, either in-game or out of game, depending on the situation and the involved players' personalities. Unbalanced character abilities or items are best handled in-game, but rule changes can only be handled out of game. Sometimes it is best for you to admit to the players that you made a mistake, and now it needs to be fixed in order to keep the game fun, balanced, and running smoothly. The more reasonable you are, the more likely your players are to understand.
And this does come from the 3.5 DMG. Ian, what do you think about this tip?
Well, I actually think it's a very good tip. And it kind of feeds into a conversation that we were having just the other day, actually.
You want to touch on it in the details specifically?
Well, I'm not going to get into the details specifically.
Well, the overarching,
Right.
So they can understand.
Is that effectively we've seen countless times, unfortunately, when people make mistakes, they'll double down and say, no, I didn't. Or even when people point it out, and it's quite frankly obvious once it's. Whereas if somebody admits they made a mistake,
I made a mistake. No shit.
people will respect you more for it. It's true.
Yeah, absolutely.
I've had this issue in my campaigns.
Oh yeah.
I made a mistake. It was specific. I've mentioned this once before. It's a something I did to keep the party balanced, so I wouldn't have to rebalance monsters and stuff because I was too lazy to do it. I gave the characters a Meeseeks box from Rick and Morty. And if a character was missing that day, they could use the Meeseeks box to produce a random class at their level to help fight for them.
You have an NPC generator box in the game.
Yes.
That is
But
awesome.
Here's the issue is when I first got it, they were like, click, 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 click. I was like, okay, I made a mistake. We need to reverse this. You guys can only use this in battle. You can only use it so many times in a week, all that stuff. So they agreed to that. It's like, that makes sense. This is
Well, yeah,
simple
you just make an
power.
army. Click, 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 click. Go do my opinion.
Meeseeks, protect me from the law.
Andrew does make a good point here. He says your players will almost always understand if you admit to making a mistake. I cannot agree with that more as somebody who is repeatedly making mistakes.
Uh,
I remember one game too where some players of mine encountered some flame skulls, and one guy fired off a cone of cold, did massive damage to them, and then another player followed up with a cold attack, and they said, "Oh, that doesn't do anything because they're immune to cold damage." But then the first player's like, "Wait a second, I just hit cone of cold and did all these damage." Yes, you did.
Oops.
Uh,
That happens to me a lot, and when I forget little things like that, not falling asleep for elves, I forget that all the time,
yeah.
and the players do too because it doesn't come into play.
it's like, well, since I missed the first time around, it's only fair that you do cold damage then on your attack then, because
Yeah.
I don't want to go back and do all the math again.
I did that on the Haunt, the gargoyles.
Mhm.
The they're elementals.
Mhm.
I didn't know they were. And someone had an ability to sense elementals within the house. It's like, oh, you don't sense any.
Oh no!
They went in, they got surprised and looked at the stat box. Like, oh shit, these are elementals. Okay, none of that damage happened. I'm going to give you advantage on your next 2 attacks because I fucked up.
Yeah, and it's okay to make mistakes. We're human.
I think one of the best comments I saw within the past few weeks online was how they phrase it. Basically, a master has failed more times than a novice has even tried.
Yes, you can. You cannot succeed without failure.
Learn from other people's mistakes. You'll not live long enough to make them all on your own.
All right, I think that will do it for our Dungeon Master tip of the day, making mistakes. Ian, would you like to take our player tip of the podcast? Don't be a dick. And you can avoid dickitude by listening to Ian with role-playing a shapeshifter.
Yeah. First off, role-playing a shifter. And we are talking about the player race, for the record. In broad strokes, shifters resemble humans with animalistic features. Roar. Shifters are strongly influenced by their animal nature. This often means they have characteristics that are alert, fierce, and perceptive.
Mm.
They think and act like predators, conceiving of most activities in terms of hunting prey. Shifters are drawn to a pack of companions, whether it's a family group or an adventuring party. They work well as part of a team in combat, coordinating their attacks with their allies and coming to the aid of beleaguered friends.
Yeah, historically, most shifters dwelled in nomadic bands in plains and forests, far removed from cities and towns. The increasing dangers of the wilds, though, have driven many of the shifters to closer proximity of humans and other elven communities. Though some shifters have adapted smoothly to this change, carving niches out for themselves as trappers, hunters, fishermen, fisherwomen, trackers, guides, and military scouts. Others have had a much harder time of it. Man, this is very much a humanoid, thing, right? Not everyone's going to get it. Shifters who feel alienated from plains and forests they love sometimes take up adventuring life as a way of escaping the confines of a city and its walls and returning to nature. This does come from D&G 4E. What do you guys think about this?
I think it's fun. And in the sense of, I think lots of people, how do I phrase this? There's a lot of people saying that people should have the ability to play races where they want to, which is fine.
Mm-hmm.
But I think a lot of players forget that, especially if you're basing a game in a particular setting,
You can turn your volume down.
that comes with certain expectations. And tips like these kind of remind people, like, hey, you're playing in this world. This is how things work here.
Right.
And that's perfectly okay, especially when all the players acknowledge that ahead of time.
Absolutely. What do you think?
I like the idea of
I already did.
I like the idea of the shifters who did not fit in, because of the idea of saying, I don't belong here. I belong out in nature. I'm going to become an adventurer, and I'm going to go out to where it's dangerous, regardless of how dangerous it is.
Okay.
Just because the way of how it is. That could also make it so that you could play as a more reckless character,
Ooh, I like that.
perhaps.
Mhm. Oh, that's good. Shifters are definitely something that I delved into a little more after reading this, and even our next episode has a shifter optimization build. So I really enjoyed it that much. I think that'll do it for our player tip. Don't be a dick, and you can avoid dickitude by role playing a shifter and with their lore. Now, I've really enjoyed this episode. I think we've done a lot of good stuff, but I really think it's that time, that moment that you guys have been waiting for. Those of you that have stuck around through our bullshit, and those who are ready to enter our giveaway. Brandon, what is our RPG Fat Loot giveaway today?
Our RPG Fat Loot giveaway is the hardcover of Extraordinary Expeditions. Save time and effort by jumping into the game with already fleshed out locations, encounters, maps, abilities, and stat blocks. Being a DM is hard.
It is.
Why not let us do the heavy lifting so you can have a great time at the table? The product goes live on May 13th. That's this Friday. So if
Ian
you're
has picked a winner of our giveaway.
Now, I do want to mention
What?
that our winner ended up being one of our last entries. So that just goes to show you how important it is to type in.
Yes. So, who is our winner then?
Our winner today did punch in their chat over Facebook.
Okay.
And the winner is Robert Reynolds.
Robert Reynolds. Congratulations. Woo! Woo, 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 woo. You get this phenomenal, well-crafted, excellently designed book with amazing art on the inside, crafted by yours truly and the team.
you're like Disney selling a Marvel movie.
I do want to take a moment to thank everyone who did support the Kickstarter to help bring this to life. Everyone that watches this, that's sticking around to watch it, we really appreciate it. We love you guys. You literally make this show possible. If you guys didn't continue to watch us, listen to us, share our content, purchase our content, support us on Patreon, we probably would have, ended a long time ago.
It's
But
true.
here we are.
Yeah.
We started in 2016.
And
2016, and we're still here. Suck it.
I mean,
That's the year I got married.
and
Yeah, which time?
August 20th.
Oh, I was asking which number.
Oh, go fuck yourself.
I was kidding about that.
That's when I got married to Jesse, which means if we get divorced, this is going downhill
Why?
because lucky year.
Oh, okay, I got you. All right,
I don't
so
know.
Three Cheese Dave is asking an awesome question. Yes, we do give away projects each stream, though they're not always physical products.
Yeah.
This is really costly for us, so yeah, whatever.
So,
We do
yeah.
give away complimentary PDFs of our content, of other content every week.
and how you should probably tell
And-
Oh yeah, we should probably finish up this part.
And the producer says that clear too. That it's not just from the chat. It's also
Mhm.
from all of our subscribers. We pull names out.
Yep. So if you go ahead on over
Big-
to check out our newsletter over at critacademy.com/newsletter-sign up. There's also a button on some of the pages too. So
we should probably tell our winner how to get a hold of us.
yeah. Shoot me Crit Academy a private message on Facebook, since that's the medium you used. All right. Anything else? If you didn't win, no problem. Head on over to critacademy.com and subscribe for your chance to win.
Yeah, it's the same time next week.
Yes, we do our show live every Sunday at 7 p.m. Eastern, and it goes live on podcasts, iTunes, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts, 10 days from then, on Wednesdays.
And if you are new, every other Thursday we do Clash of Classes.
Oh, yes, PvP, where we watch players build optimized characters and demolish each other. It's
So
great.
if you're new and you want to go and make a character and fight someone else,
There's a link for that, I think.
yeah, there's a link for that. You can sign up and be like, I want to go kill somebody, and we'll.
Whoa. Somebody's character.
I want to go kill somebody's character, and we'll bring you into the game, and you can fight.
I do want to say we have a famous TikToker in our midst, Dominic, the legendary bearded wizard himself, is here on that. If you haven't seen his content, you need to check him out.
Am I not legendary TikTok?
You might be like rare, not legendary. Thank you, Dom, my favorite TikToker.
So he's gold.
If you would, Dom, share your TikTok link in the thing, and I'll blow it up. I think that'll do it for our show today. Yeah, it looks like the host already, our producer already got it. So, anyways, check him out. He always gives me a magical day. It's great. All right, should we close this out, you guys? Because I keep saying that and we haven't done it yet. So, if you do enjoy the show, consider becoming a patron, supporting the show, sharing our content, leaving us a review, anything you can think of. I am your host, Justin.
I'm your co-host Ian.
And I'm your co-host Brandon. Thanks for listening.
Keep your blades sharp and spells prepared, heroes. We'll see you guys later.